All right, welcome back to another one of our film reviews. Today we are breaking down Bengals guard Cordell Volson. Look, Volson has been a guy who's gotten a lot of targets for not playing very good football, but I think he's starting to step up. He's played a big role in the Bengals resurgence, and we've got a great set of cut-ups for you today to highlight just that. If you appreciate this content, give us a like, give us a comment with any feedback you might have, or let us know if there's another player you want us to break down. But without further ado, let's jump right into the film. All right, we're going to open up with a short yardage play, 4th and short inside the Colts 5. Obviously, this is a have-to-have-it situation for the Bengals offense. This is going to be an inside running play. You're going to get everybody up front basically taking their gap to their right. You're going to get the backside here is just trying to cut off here. You're going to get Volson working down on this guy who's lined up in what we call a two-eye technique. He's on the inside eye of Volson right there. On the right tackle and tight end, they're going to try and just cut off people on the backside here. Again, the basic premise is to get the action here with the fullback and then to cut behind this way. You want to get a lot of movement in this direction and create just a seal here, get everything cut off here, and then have the running back work through the alley just like this. That puts a lot of pressure on Volson. He's got to do a great job. He cannot allow any penetration across his face. He's got to make sure he washes him down, gives the running back a clear vision to cut back behind him. Let's check out how he does. All right, there's a snap again. You can see the center and the right guard working to their right. You can see the right tackle and tight end working to cut people off on the backside, working to their right as well. And right there, you can kind of see it right there. There's the hole between 75 and 67. That's the angle that 28 Mixon wants to cut behind. But that forces Volson. Again, he can't allow penetration. He has to wash down this two-eye technique. And he does a great job getting on him, getting his feet in the ground, washing him inside, first down. Again, this was 4th and short. Big chance for this Colts defense to get a big-time stop. And Volson does his job perfectly. I love how low he gets at the snap. Look at that. That's a great position to be in, low physical, and he keeps driving his feet, keeps washing the defensive lineman inside, opens up a great hole for Mixon to read. I mean, right there as a running back, that's absolutely perfect. Mixon, I'm kind of surprised he didn't score here. Great play by the safety to prevent a touchdown. But this was a big 4th and short situation, and the Bengals, led by Volson, did a great job converting here.
Yeah, and again, this is super impressive because Volson, he opened up the season this year pretty terrible, had very, very bad grades overall. Mid-season, up and down, up and down. Now, finally, this last 3-game stretch by Volson and the Bengals has been absolutely phenomenal. He's really kind of come into his own, starting to make a little bit of noise for himself. Mid to high 70s every single game, the last 3 games. Volson is really coming into his own. I think this is a guy who can be a strong offensive line piece for this Bengals team going forward.
All right, so one of the things I love about Volson's game is his athleticism and his effort, and it shows up a lot in the screen game for the Cincinnati Bengals, and this is a great example of this. First of all, this is a really well-designed play from Cincinnati. They're going to bring 15 in motion and then back across this way to draw the defense this direction. They're going to keep the tight end home to block, which is going to take whoever's responsibility for covering them. It's going to force them again on this side of the field, and then they're going to run a play action, and they're going to leak the running back out in the flat there for a screen game right here. We're going to get the tackles are going to stay home and pass protect. And then we're going to have the center and both guards here are going to pass set briefly and then work out in space to pick up bodies here for a big screen play right here for the Cincinnati Bengals. Let's watch what Volson does here. This is a phenomenal job here from the young lineman. All right, there's the motion. He's going to motion back there. Again, draws the defense that direction. There's the play action. You can see Volson release. Look at him find someone on the block, gets on 44 and just throws him 10 yards down the field. That's great stuff and gets a hit on somebody else. Look at Mixon stumbling all the way down inside the 15. Great job from Volson here, folks. Great rep. Let's back this all the way up here. Long way to run. Look at where they start here. Again, the ball is snapped at the Bengals on 39. Volson sells pass, gets out here, spends what, about 10, 15 yards, 20 yards downfield, gets a great shove on 44, gets a hand on somebody else. Look who Mixon's running behind right here. Again, credit to 65, great block. But Volson basically takes out 2 guys right there. Let me back it up just a little bit more so you guys can see it clearly. Right here, here are the 2 guys that are in a great position to get Mixon, right? Because this guy right here for Indianapolis, he just wants to make sure the running back cuts back inside of him. Here you see 44, and I can't tell what number that is, but that's a safety for Indianapolis, 40. Right there, these 2 guys are the guy who can make the play, and Volson takes out both of them. Phenomenal work here from Volson in space, great athleticism, great effort, high energy, huge play for the Bengals offense. Again, let's watch it from the end zone view right here. You can see Volson sell pass protection, get out, chase down number 44, great shove. Those are like 15 yards down the field. Great physical play, and then gets on 48 right there for a little bit more, breaking this into a huge play for the Bengals offense. This is great stuff, guys. This is why the Bengals are winning football, even with Joe Burrow obviously being out the rest of the season. It's great team play, and it's the emergence of young guys who have struggled in the past, like Volson, into quality players.
Yeah, Nick, and I just want to go over some stats to reiterate how great of a little renaissance Bolson has had these past 3 games. This whole season, 4 sacks allowed by Volson. The last 3 games, 0. This whole season, 22 quarterback hurries allowed by Volson. This last 3 games, 0. Then finally, 31 total pressures this season allowed by Volson. The last 3 games, only 1. This is a guy who's really turning things around. He's looking very, very solid. And I think he has finally put together a lot of stuff. This Bengals team, under a little bit of adversity, they band together. Volson is doing a lot of really great things, and he is looking like a heck of a playmaker for this Bengals offensive line.
On the previous play, we showed Volson out in space on a screen game. Here, we're going to show him out in space and show off his athleticism and effort in the running game. This is just going to be a toss sweep right here for the Cincinnati Bengals. They're going to get down block from the tight end. They're going to pull Orlando Brown outside to lead the way here, picking up most likely a fill safety or a corner coming that direction. Volson here, he's got a pretty much impossible assignment. His job is to cut off or at least get on number 44 for Indianapolis right here. And folks, you can see where 44 is right there. He is about 3 yards to the left of Volson. He's obviously a linebacker, supposedly a much better athlete. But let's watch 67 here take a great angle, pick up number 44, do a good job, and it turns out to be a nice running game for the Cincinnati Bengals offense. All right, there's the snap. Look at this angle from Volson. Gets on him, drives him. Good job. And look, I know 44 ends up being part of the tackle here, but that's because number 90 doesn't get cut off by the center. And again, it's a tough block by the center too. He's working, he's driving. Great effort by the nose tackle to get downfield. But this is really well blocked up front. When you look at Volson specifically, they seal the edge, they get outside. Orlando Brown gets on the corner, or at least forces the corner to duck underneath right there. And again, Volson's where you want to be because you can't expect to reach him, right? Look at, again, to back it up here. 44 has already got Volson out leveraged to the sideline. Volson, you just got to run. He gets a great angle. See how flat he is, folks? See how he basically runs off the heels of the defensive end? Takes this great angle, gets on his high horse, sprinting, gets on him, doesn't hold. Nice job up front here. And again, if they get 90, the nose guard, cut off at all, let's say number 90 is not there, folks, they got bodies to get this downfield one-on-one with the safety. This is a chance to be a huge play. This is what it's like in the running game sometimes. You are often just one block away, but you never know when you're going to get that one block. That's why you always have to play with high effort and great technique. And Volson is starting to do that, play in and play out. Again, great angle, great athleticism, gets his hands on him, doesn't hold. Good job here. I think before the season's over, we're going to see runs like this really pop for the Bengals offense. All right, now for one of my favorite plays that Volson had all day against Indy. There he is, of course, at left guard. And this is just going to be a standard pass protection. The center is going to take over with this 2-eye technique. We're going to call him a 2-eye because, again, he's the inside eye of the guard right there. Orlando Brown's going to take this defensive end right here. Olsen's going to punch in and support and then settle into this gap looking for 44 or anybody else coming from anywhere else. Otherwise, he's just going to look for work, guard ground here for a second, make sure this defensive lineman is secure. But then you want to find someone to hit, and that's exactly what Volson does here. He sets, he does a great job here, but then he notices this defensive end is fair game. He takes a great shot on him. This is fun football right here. Let's check out what he does here. There's a snap. Again, Volson does a good job helping secure that defensive lineman. That defensive lineman kind of works into the center a little bit. Again, great pocket up front here for the Cincinnati Bengals. This is a shot play for Cincinnati, so they had the tight end and running back kind of help and support. So again, though, great protection up front. Look at Volson right here. Look for work and then bury that defensive end into the ground. This is great stuff. You know how you prevent defensive ends from running bull rushes or inside moves? Is that when they do and you get a chance to bury them in the ribs and put them in the dirt, put them in the turf, you take advantage of it. That's exactly what Volson does. This is great football, right? Good physical, old school. Guys pass rushing, just knock them on the ground. Great job. And you know who really appreciates that? Your left tackle. The next time he has to go one-on-one pass pro, that guy's going to be hesitant, going to make his job a lot easier. I'll tell you what, ends up being a huge play down the field for the Bengals passing game as well. So again, great stuff here. Helping the defensive lineman, going to the defensive end and burying him in the ground results in a big play. All around, great rep here from Volson. All right, earlier in this video, we talked about Volson getting better in pass protection. This is a great example of it. So he's going to be one-on-one right here with a 3 technique. He's a 3 technique because he's on the outside shoulder of the guard right there. You can see the defensive end lined up really wide right there. That's going to be Orlando Brown's going to have to handle him. And right here, we're going to get these kind of gap protection over here where basically these three Bengals offensive linemen are responsible for those three Colts defensive linemen and linebacker right there. So again, one-on-one matchup right here. Volson on that three technique. This is a tough situation. This guy can go outside. This guy can go inside to the A gap, or he can go right through you. This is a tough blocking assignment from Volson. He's struggled with it in the past, but he's clearly gotten a lot better. Let's check out how he goes. All right, there's the snap. Quickly engages into him, does a great job, and just locks him up, settles down. Easy completion, first down, Cincinnati. Great protection up front. Again, you can see these three guys to the offensive right doing a solid job there. Orlando Brown with a little chip help has no issues at all with the defensive end. So it all comes down to Volson, one-on-one in a tough situation, uses his hands well. Again, defensive lineman does a good job knocking his hands down, but Volson very quickly, watch this real quick, folks. See how Volson's going to get his hands into his chest. The defensive lineman's going to knock his hands away, and he's going to reset. So watch this here. Hands, knock, reset, settle your base. Great technique there from Volson. Again, I think this was one of his problems earlier in his career. His technique kind of got away from him. He's getting a lot better with more playing time. Great handwork there, great base, good feet work. Ends up being a first down, nice completion. I tell you what, folks, Volson's starting to get it. He's getting better and better. And as he gets better, this offensive lineman will get better as a whole. And with better protection up front, you may not need Burrow back there to have an explosive offense. And we saw that against Indy.
And we talk about this passing game, and what comes with the passing game is a key stat of pass block efficiency. This is a stat that measures pressure allowed on per snap basis. And this week, Volson had 100% pass blocking efficiency. Nobody got by him. He was a brick wall. Nobody was going to get to Browning through Volson. And that doesn't stop there. Last week against Jacksonville, 98.8 pass blocking efficiency. And the week before versus Pittsburgh, with all of the talented pass rush that they have, a 100 pass blocking efficiency. So Volson has really turned it on. He's coming into his own. He's looking great in the pass game, great in the run game, and I think he's going to be a very talented player.
All right, let's finish up with a very unique running play that I think is really kind of cool. So up here, the Cincinnati Bengals have kind of, again, a very interesting concept. They're going to take the center. He's going to work the backside to the backside linebacker. They're going to take the right guard and block out there. Right tackle is going to block out there. Orlando Brown's going to insert for number 44, the middle linebacker in this situation. They're going to take the tight end 89. He's going to come in and wham block this 2-eye technique right there. And Volson's going to pull and kick out the defensive end right there. And this running back's going to take an interesting path. He's going to work this way and then follow behind the tight end there, and then follow behind Orlando Brown, and then follow behind Volson right there to try and get north and south for a really nice productive play. It's really kind of an interesting design, really well executed across the board. But the pressure falls on Volson right here because he has to slow play this just enough. He has to settle and then pull to give his tight end time to get there, because if he pulls too quickly, this defensive lineman will get immediate penetration. But he also has to, after he settle pulls, make sure he gets a great block on the defensive end. It's a tough assignment from Volson. Let's check out how he does. All right, you can see the center, right guard, right tackle all blocking out. You can see the tight end coming down. You can see the Orlando Brown going up the field. Again, let's watch Volson here. See how he pauses briefly for a second. Quick flash of the hands. Again, he's just trying to get this defensive lineman to freeze for a second. You don't want this defensive lineman to notice this tight end, because if he sees that tight end early, he will then throw his body into the tight end and spill this block right here, creating a big pile right here and just totally blow this play up. Tight end's able to insert and do just enough because Volson, again, froze him in place right here. This defensive lineman gets deep enough to allow the tight end to pick up just enough of him. And look at Volson again. Get out in space. Good job on the defensive end, and keeps driving, keeps working, driving him down the field. Nice little shove at the end. Great football there from Volson. Great physical nature, good tough play. Orlando Brown gets on the linebacker. Everybody else on the right side does a good job. Ends up being a really nice run by Joe Mixon and the Cincinnati Bengals. And again, this is one of the things with the Bengals. They are a complete offense. They do everything. Screen game, outside run game, inside run game, traps, wham blocks, throw the ball down the field, quick slants, you name it. They do it all. And one of the reasons they can do it all is because they are starting to get an offensive line up front that can perform all the blocks, that can play in space, that can be physical, that can pass protect. Volson was a weak link with that in the past, but he's very quickly becoming a strong point, and that gives Bengals fans a lot of hope the rest of the season.
Yeah, Nick, and we see Volson. We've talked about him ad nauseum of how he has done, but let's talk a little bit about how his performance has affected some of those around him. specifically the running back Mixon. Volson had his best few games, especially these last 2 games for him. Mixon, on the other hand, also has had 2 of his 3 highest grades of the season the last 2 games versus Jacksonville and Indianapolis. And I'm not talking just about yardage and things like that. I'm talking about when you get into the nitty gritty of how things are supposed to be done, when PFF dissects everything. Mixon has had 2 of his highest 3 grades of the season against Indy and Jacksonville. And I think a large part of that is being able to run behind a much improved Volson.